I am Param and I scored 100 in science 2 years ago, and in this video I am going to be telling you how to present your paper to score 97 plus, 98 plus or full marks in your science exam. Now, presentation is one of the most important things. It is as important as your actual preparation because it's not about what you learn, it's about how you represent what you learn. So this is the step you need to do to go from 90 plus to 100. Watch this video fully and it will be beneficial for you for sure. First step, always spoon feed to the examiner. What you need to do is always treat your examiner as a 5th grader or a 4th grader and just spoon feed every single little detail to them. What this does is tells the examiner how you can explain what you know and how you know everything. And they will most probably just skim through your whole answer. Why? Because you will underline keywords. This is the most important step. I have told you so many times. Always underline keywords while presenting an answer. Every single answer, whether 2 marker, 3 marker, 5 marker, 4 marker, I don't care. Write the keywords and underline them. What are keywords? Keywords are the words which will sum your answer up. So, if you know the words which will sum your answer up, just underline them. If you're writing an answer about, heart or how blood is circulated, the keywords could be pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein, aorta, atrium, etc., etc. Now the crazy thing about CBSE is you don't need to write the whole answer. You don't even need to write the correct answer to score full marks. Sometimes things happen that the examiner thinks you have already written everything in a good point-wise format. So he doesn't even read your points. He just takes the answer. And to use this, what you can do is if you do not know an answer, just write anything that is relevant to the topic of that answer. And the examiner might just give you 1 or 2 marks or even 3 marks in a 3-mark answer. In MCQs, do not take the risk of only writing the options. Always write first word, last word of the option in front of it so that the examiner is confirmed on what you have marked. Now, the next 2 tips are very important. Always box your answers and box the formulas given, formulas used and every detail that is given in the question. And always write the answers in points. It is not necessary for English and Hindi to write in points. However, Science and SST require you to write in points. Being the examiner, you would prefer way more if something is written in points instead of paragraph. So always write your answer in points. 2-marker question, write 3 points. 3-marker question, write 4 points. 5-marker question, write 5 and 6 and 7 points. We have to just give him a little bit more so that you can ensure your full marks. Even if some point is wrong, the other would be right. Now the next tip would be, whenever you're drawing the diagrams, always try to draw them in a clean and neat space, preferably on the next page. Because this will help the examiner look at the diagram clearly. And the second thing is, I've already told you to write anything if it doesn't come to your mind and to spoon feed the examiner. That does bring the question, if I'm writing too much, right? So I am here to answer this to you. I wrote too much in my paper. I wrote unnecessary information in the questions I know. That is because I need to ensure that the examiner will give me full marks or at least reward me the best marks possible. By writing unnecessary information, what I do is fill up more space and the examiner will think from the keywords that I know a lot about the chapter. But what you do not need to do is write irrelevant information. If you want to write 1 or 2 unnecessary statements in your answer, that's fine. That is relevant and that should be done. But irrelevant information, do not write it. For example, what I could say is, if there is a question, how x relates to y. Okay, in this question, what you only need to answer is how x relates to y. But before we answer this, let's first write what x is, what y is, and then answer the question how x relates to y. What this does is add 2 unnecessary statements. But those statements make the examiner already know that you know the answer. So even if you've written the relation wrong, he might take it. So always make sure that you write a little bit of unnecessary information, but do not write it, but do not write too much irrelevant or just too much information. So now let's say if you're not confident about a particular question in a particular section. First of all, never jumble the questions from section B to section C. Let's say there's a question in section B that you want to do later, then leave space for it. Do not write it after section C. Questions inside a section should be inside the heading of that section itself. That's it. But what you could do is jumble the questions inside the section wali heading. We can also make use of this as a very unconventional tip. I will recommend do not do this until you absolutely need to. If you're not sure about an answer, but you're sure about 1 or 2 answers of the same section, what you need to do is write the strong one first, write the strong one last, and keep the weak one inside the middle. there's a strong chance that the examiner will think first question right, last question right, and they will skip the other questions. Not skip, but at least skim. And I'm saying this is not necessary, so please just do this if it is absolutely necessary. Otherwise, there's no need. There's one more thing that I'll recommend to you. Always try to write one statement of the conclusion after a 3 marker or 5 marker. What this does is it rounds up your answer pretty well, and just it's a topper's answer basically. Now let's come on to the subject specific ones. So physics, chemistry, biology. Physics, always write formulas in the numericals. Do not forget any step. Formula, then substitute the values given in the question into the formula, then calculation, then final answer, and box the final answer. That's what you need to do. Please put high emphasis on the activity based questions. Always try to remember all the observations of all the activities given in the book. However, if you can't, at least do it for the important ones. Remember all the observations because it can be asked in MCQs as well. Plus, there could be a question to write 3 marker activity on something. And now biology. Biology, always try to prefer the diagram instead of the writing. What I will recommend you is, even if you're writing, make the diagram as well. What this does is put a bias on the examiner that you know a lot. And again, I've already told you this so many times. So please write the answer, make the diagram, and preferably make the diagram before the answer. In biology and in other subjects as well if you have the time. Second thing is, biology is something we don't really like. I mean, you could like it, but the theory is very, very much. Okay? It is the same for the examiner. The examiner also doesn't like seeing so much theory. So first of all, write in points as we discussed. Second of all, try to make flowcharts if possible. If there's any answer which you need a flowchart for, like types of something, so you could just make a flowchart and then try to explain it. What this will do is neaten up your answer, and it will also make the paper more aesthetically pleasing for the examiner and for you. Last thing is, always try to provide a reason for any single statement that you're writing in the exam. If you're just writing the statement and not providing the reason for that statement, you could lose marks if that is relevant to the question. Here's 2 topper tips that I would leave you with. Always try to use the washroom as a strategic break. I'm not saying far raha kuch bhi leke jao, but what you could do is, if you're confused about how to attempt a question or what question I should attempt if there's a choice given, what you could do is close your copy, go to the washroom, think about it कि मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ, कैसे लिख सकता हूँ, and this will give you some time off your actual paper, reduce the pressure, and it will make you think better and faster. Second thing you could do is, if your paper ends early, like around the 2 hour or 2 hour 15 minute mark, what you could do is go to the washroom, try to recharge yourself for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, try to refreshen your mind, and then come back with a fresh mind to actually revise the paper. I am sure you will get so much more mistakes doing this rather than actually just, okay, paper done, revision time. So that's how you score full marks. If you want to know how to score better in all the other subjects as well, please subscribe this channel, and thanks for watching.